Every family has a choice, follow the herd or carve their own path. This is the Lone Wolf Podcast. Are you ready to stray from the pack?
Welcome to the Lone Wolf Podcast. Hello!
Do you think that it's possible that the human race is going extinct?
That we're going extinct?
Yep.
I think
are we an endangered species?
At this point, I feel like anything's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. And not to get, conspiracy off the back, but
No. You're on the Lone Wolf Podcast here, honey. Give it to us. That's what we're here for. Come on.
So I actually saw something recently that said this was like just kind of a bold thing. It said, is infertility being engineered?
Yeah, that is.
And then I started thinking about it, and I started going down this rabbit hole.
I have thoughts on that.
Of, are we, as not only men but women too, are we being chemically and environmentally castrated by the modern toxins that we live in?
If that is true,
Right.
Why?
And that's the big question.
Yeah.
Ready to go down the rabbit hole?
Do you think that it's intentional? Because I mean,
I do and I don't.
I almost think that it's something where there's a lot of bigs at play here, right?
Right.
There's big pharma, there's big food, there's big fertility,
right,
which we're gonna be breaking down in this 3-part series. So buckle up, loners.
Yep.
But is it possible that the intention is there to make us sick, because then we become dependent on these bigs that I mentioned, and those bigs then require our dollars to get our quote cures from them, or not even cures, but our treatment from them, right? But maybe it's now gone almost so far that it's out of their hands, and everybody's a little oh shit, we might actually have a legitimate problem here that we can't get back from.
It started as profit margins.
Yeah.
And becoming, top producer, top dollar, bottom line, meet the bottom line, corporation, meet the bottom line. And then it is now trickling into the greed has gotten so overwhelmingly present that
dominating.
It's having all these ripple effects and essentially sending us into some sort of extinction of our own species.
And I'll tell you what, I would hope that all these bigs are scrambling, are shaking in their boots right now, being oh my gosh, are we literally getting to the point where we are going to extinct mankind? But I have a funny feeling they're not. And I think that's why, more than ever, it is so important that right now we wake up and we put an end to it. 100%. It's got to stop. And it's not going to happen with anybody above us. It's going to happen in our homes, in our families, and the choices that we make every single day. We have to stop subscribing to this kind of facade that we're being sold, that we need all these things.
Right. Like the convenience and the necessity and the ease of the modern luxuries that we have. It's outweighing the detrimental downside.
Modern convenience is killing us.
100%. And it feels
if not killing us, it's at least sure as shit making us infertile.
Absolutely. It feels like the bigs, that they've gotten so far the other way, like we just said, it's like they almost spun this wheel and now they can't get it to stop. But in their own heads, they have to think there's some out to this, because if there's no out to it, you're killing your profit, because if you start decreasing the population, who's going to buy your products?
I know.
So what do you do?
I can't help but feel that there's just this big head inflated mentality that Yeah, like the data's there, we see it, but
like it's a problem, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah.
Exactly. Because you know what's insane? Worldwide fertility rates have dropped by over 50% since 1960.
That's insane. That's
what
staggering.
What year were your parents born? 60s?
Shit, don't put me on the spot with that.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure both my parents.
My dad was born in 1826.
Your parents do have a bigger age gap.
And my mom was born in 1965.
Yes.
Honestly, I think it was like 1960 something.
Yes, I think both my parents were born in the 60s.
Okay.
Like early 60s.
Yeah.
But 50%. And so in many developed nations, this includes the United States,
right.
Japan, Italy, South Korea, and I think a couple of other ones. It's possible that the rate is now below what they think is to be known as the replacement level. Literally meaning that we have data to show that it is possible we have gotten so far into infertility rates that we potentially can't recover.
That's frightening. That's frightening for our children, our children's grandchildren, or our grandchildren, and the generations that come after us. It's like, it's one of those things that are we going to see the impact of it? I know that there are certain countries that are seeing the impact of it already. You have Japan, who is literally giving incentives to have more children because they can't fill jobs, and they're worried about the next generation, and they're worried about the stability of their economy, because without those people filling those positions, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
They're paying foreigners now to move to Japan just to occupy homes and contribute to the economy.
I know.
So it's like, what does the future look like if we don't get a grip on the issues at hand? Like, what does the future look like?
It's honestly devastating just on a personal level to think of that being the potential, because you and I have lived firsthand what it feels like to go through infertility.
Absolutely.
And it would break me if I had to watch both of our daughters go through that experience.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that for them at all. I couldn't even imagine. And what's so scary is that you and I have always been fairly health-minded. It has obviously developed, as we've learned things and experienced what we went through.
Yeah.
But even then, with us making so many huge lifestyle changes and being considered the like weird friends, like people look at us and are like, you guys are weird because we do all these like, abnormal things.
Right. Abnormal in the eyes of the normal like consumer who's not looking into for us now, it's like it's just become part of everyday life because we've had to wake up to them.
Right. But even then, doing all those things, like if these rates are staggering of like infertility, are those lifestyle changes and all the things that you and I are doing and implementing within our family and raising our children, and is it going to be enough to protect them from like infertility?
I don't know. I don't know if being intentional in our choices outweighs the environmental aspect of it.
Yep.
And because
all the external factors.
Exactly. Like, the external stuff, the stuff that we don't have control over right now, unless we were to like move to the woods and just hide from the other population. From
everything.
But even then,
the clothes that you're wearing,
you're getting
the light bulbs that you have, like the air you're breathing.
I mean, if they're actually cloud seeding, and this is not to get into another conspiracy theory here, I'm not not to run off onto conspiracy land, but if they're cloud seeding and they're putting shit into the atmosphere and they're putting it and it's raining down into our crops and into our air and into the things that we're breathing, you can't fucking escape.
No, you can't. But ultimately, I mean, like, we could go down that rabbit hole, and I know like anybody who's listening who is already kind of where our family's at and the spectrum of crunchy living, whatever you want to call it, we've heard all these things, we know that it's big and scary out there, but ultimately, like, there is still power in knowing that you do have control over some
For sure.
things. You do have a choice in things, like,
Yes.
and it starts with just waking up and you make the small changes, right?
Yeah. And we could just be crazy, and all of this could just be
Maybe we'll all be fine.
conspiracy.
Yep.
But let's not discount the fact that being intentional and doing what you can do that's within your means to control how your family lives and feels is 100% what you should be doing.
Yep, completely agree.
Yeah.
And now more than ever.
Yes.
In my opinion. I believe that fertility is not, or infertility, I should say, is not random. Right. I think that it's a way that your body is communicating to you that something deeper is going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that sounds fancy and like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. What a profound statement, but it's not that simple, right? Like, it's not that simple to figure out your like root cause. Fertility is very complex, and it's one of the only conditions where two people are impacting it. Right? Like, if I got diagnosed with diabetes, your health is not going to change my diabetes.
Right. I'm still eating that sugar.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But like, me having infertility, your fertility is going to impact my fertility.
Right.
Like,
it takes two to tango.
It takes two to get the baby.
Right.
Okay. So I think this kind of goes on to what you were saying, this conspiracy idea, right? That like, is fertility maybe, or infertility, like fabricated?
Yep.
I feel like potentially yes. And if you're thinking that I sound crazy,
I don't.
Not you. Let's unpack it. Talking to you.
Yeah. You people.
I have some ideas in my head of the things, those external factors that we were talking about.
Okay.
That make fertility, that pose a threat to your fertility. Even if, like, you know, you're trying to do all the things. It's hard to do everything when, like we were just saying, not to sound dark and depressing, but there's a lot of things that are working against us here, right?
Absolutely.
Let's start with hormonal birth control.
Okay.
You don't know this because you're a man, and they tried to make hormonal birth control for men, and they did one organized trial, and the men said, it doesn't make me feel good. And they went, all right, we'll cut it.
Who runs the world?
While other women are out here literally dying from pulmonary embolisms.
Yeah.
Like, there are parents putting their daughters in the ground at 20 years old because they were not informed of the side effects of the birth control pill.
Which is so scary.
It's so scary.
And so sad.
And this isn't meant to be like a birth, like I could go off on birth control. But my point is, I was on birth control for I don't even know how many years, but I started in high school. And I started later than most other girls because I had a very Catholic dad who was very anti-birth control. So I was always like, I was just terrified to bring it up.
You need to abstain, Morgan.
No, what's scary is we were doing a pull out and pray, which to me is worse than, not worse than birth control, to be honest, but just worse than like having informed contraceptive plans, you know?
Well, and I think that's kind of, when you're in school, that's kind of what is taught to you, that like
the pill,
you're going to hug somebody and get them pregnant.
For sure. Yeah. You're very like scared of it. Yeah. Right. And you think, like, my science teacher in middle school said that you could get pregnant through Levi jeans or in a hot tub. Yeah. Like you're like, you're made Levi jeans. He was like, if you sit on a boy's lap and you both have Levi's on, sperm is so tiny that it could swim through the Levi's.
Yeah, Lululemons, maybe not, but Levi's, you're definitely getting knocked up.
You're screwed.
Okay. All right.
Or a hot tub. So careful who you choose to go swimming with.
Yikes.
No, but everybody was on birth control. Like all of us in high school, we all had the little packets of pills in our purses. Yeah. And we all had the alarms on our phones and it'd go off and be like, oh, gotta pop my pill.
That's it.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think that it's so damaging because these girls at such young ages are being prescribed birth control like it's candy for non-medical reasons. It's oh, your cycle's a little irregular. Here's a pill. It'll make it 27 days. Oh, you have some acne. Here's a pill that'll make your acne go away. Oh, you have cramping with your period. Here's a pill that'll make it go away. But the issue is what you're doing is creating a synthetic cycle, and you're masking and turning off all of your actual hormone production in the most vital time when your body is trying to figure out how to do the dance of these new hormone concoctions. And like, it's insane. And to think that that's not going to have lasting effects on female fertility in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, and that, like, looking into that and like the way that you're saying it, it really makes you wonder that all those people that are in our age group that were kind of fed this rite of passage in becoming a woman is now getting on birth control. Is that why we're having so much trouble?
Especially our generation.
Yeah.
If you think of it, I mean, I promise you, every single person that's listening right now knows of somebody who is currently infertile, currently going through IVF, or has recently.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of why we're doing this, because personally we've been through it, but also it's a trending topic, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know countless people my age or a little younger or a little older within, 10 years that are all struggling to have children.
It's a trending tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's heartbreaking.
It is. It's a really, really lonely, unfortunate, isolating thing to go through.
Yep. But so the birth control.
Yes.
Okay. I think that is a potential factor.
For sure.
Right?
I'm
and women just aren't informed. The good news is, in a couple other thoughts, I am going to bring up cycle charting. Right. And something that we do. And there are other options.
For sure.
Hormonal birth control is not your only option. And I'm saying this not because I think we have a bunch of like 15, 16-year-old girls listening, but after you have a baby, your 6-week postpartum follow-up, the main topic, birth control. You're usually walking out at 6 weeks postpartum with a pack of birth control in your hand or an IUD inserted. Like,
yeah, like almost like a badge of shame, like, don't let this happen again.
Yeah.
You don't want this to happen again.
Yeah. So there are other choices. And when it comes to the topic of fertility and infertility, I personally am a really big believer of cycle charting, because your cycle is a 5th vital sign and your body is trying to communicate with you. We just have no idea how to listen.
I like that.
On a lot of fronts.
I like your, what did you say? It's your 5th vital sign?
5th vital sign. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
But so thinking of other things, right, that are impacting fertility, we took birth control too far, but maybe that just means that we need a birth control episode. And I think we will, because we're raising daughters and, I don't know. I think
we can dig into that.
We'll dig into it. I think another big one is endocrine disrupting chemicals.
For sure.
So think, you were just talking about how your mom has all these like Glade plugins in her house. It's a big common thing, right? Like, almost everybody has some sort of scent plugged into their house.
She told me she's going to unplug all of them and get rid of them. She did ask me if she could refill them with
like an essential oil,
like an organic essential oil. I said, just don't do any of it. Yeah. Just don't.
Boil something on the stove.
There you go. We'll have her call you.
Yeah. But what else? The cleaning products that you're using in your house. Car fresheners.
Car air fresheners.
Didn't we just hear a stat today about how men who are driving with like the like car,
like the car air freshener
things
that goes in like your vent or like goes under the seat,
that it can potentially increase their estrogen.
Right.
And then also your detergent, like whatever you're washing your clothes in. I don't know if you've ever read a label on a detergent bottle. I recommend you do. Switch your detergent. It's an easy change.
Yep.
Perfume, deodorant, soap,
body wash.
Yep. Hair wash, shampoo, makeup. Oh gosh, makeup.
Like if you're using, sorry to cut you off, if you're using Axe body wash to clean yourself because you like the way it smells, I promise
you're stuck in the early 2000s.
And I promise you, it's killing your skin. It's killing the natural bacteria that thrives to make your body not smell funky and weird. And there's other options.
And you know what? If you want to get yourself a tall cottagecore woman who wears aprons and cooks you meals and has 5 children and tends to the chicken in the garden, they don't want to smell Axe.
Axe isn't doing anybody favors.
Nope, it's scaring the type of wife you want away. Okay, we don't like those smells.
To all you single men out there,
yeah,
you heard it first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cut the Axe. Okay.
Yes.
We like our men
Axe
fertile. Yeah, Axe.
See what I did there?
Good dad. That's a dad joke. Okay, then synthetic fibers.
Yes, which
In
is
your clothing.
that's a hot topic right now.
The research isn't fresh on my brain right this minute, but there is, I believe, 3 different studies out there, all pretty similar, about taking dogs and putting them in polyester synthetic fiber underwear and then putting another batch of them in cotton underwear. And they were small sample sizes. It was like 35 dogs or something. But the ones that were wearing synthetic fibers, their fertility rates dropped by like 73%.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on this is not research that I pulled up.
The percentages might be off a little bit, but that is, I'm pretty sure that's
close. But it was staggering.
It was crazy.
Staggering.
You and I were talking about this, I think it was last week.
It's terrifying.
In that study, and it's staggering. Now, it is really hard to cut out synthetic fibers, especially if you own a wardrobe of clothes and you don't have the money to go and reinvest in, hemp or cotton fiber, organic cotton clothing, and it's hard to find stuff. But there, you should focus on the genital area where the meat's hanging.
Ew.
Just being real, you should try to do 100% cotton.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it matters. There's
a lot of like companies right now that are becoming popular that are giving like these ball hammocks and all this stuff, and like the sling and all that, and they're very comfortable, but the fibers that they're made out of are heavily synthetic, and that's not great.
No, stick to cotton. Yeah. It's a fairly simple change, right. And you can change your clothes over time, but okay, synthetic fibers, ultra processed foods. Okay, the food that we are eating these days is so stripped of its actual nutrients, of its minerals. It's
not food.
Yeah. Even picking up like an apple today, the nutrient profile is significantly less than an apple 20 years ago or whatever it may be, right? Like our soils are quickly becoming depleted.
Yeah.
I've heard that if we continue the way that we have been as well, that like we're going to not have any fertile soil in the next 50 years or whatever it is. Like the literal ground that our food is growing in is also greatly depleted.
We're going to be eating Bill Gates' synthetic meat. And that's another conspiracy.
I'm not
going to go down.
We're going to really get back in, honey.
Come on, here we go.
And then even then it's stripped of everything, but then a lot of it is fake, processed, factory made, and just laden in chemicals.
For sure.
And what you eat, you become, right? Like if that's what we're consuming, no wonder our fertility is struggling. And then you think of all the like diet fads and stuff of having like, we've talked about this before, but like the low fat, the skim milks, all that, we've been literally made to fear the foods that are most important to fertility. Butter, organ meats,
red meats,
fatty cuts of meat, the skin on your chicken,
saturated
eggs,
fat,
egg yolks, right? Like all the foods that are so vital to your fertility, they've been
demonized.
Yeah, we've been told to fear them.
Right.
Chronic stress and the hustle culture.
That's real.
Like I can't tell you, it's not as prevalent today unless I'm just too far in my own little, pocket now.
Very possible, but go on.
Very possible. But this idea that like you need to stay up late because you got all these things that you need to do, or even if it's relaxing by binging a Netflix show, people aren't getting into bed until 10, 11, midnight and beyond. And then but you better wake up at 5 a.m. because you got to have your protein shake, your creatine, you better hit the gym, pump the iron, do the jog, do your journaling, do your meditation, do your whatever. And then you get ready and then you go to work and XYZ, right? Like there's never time for actual sleep. And sleep is so impactful on your hormones and your fertility.
Yeah, it's that mindset, like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm gonna grind.
Right? Yeah, that grind culture,
like,
that like boss bitch energy.
Right.
You
I
know?
wake up at 3 a.m. so I can get my cold plunge.
Yeah. Like you just take it a little too far.
Yeah.
Which also makes me think of then for women as well, there's this pressure of climbing the corporate ladder, right? That like you're almost kind of shamed these days if you're like, oh, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I had kids when I was 20 something. People are like, what? You know, because there's this idea that you're supposed to, like, I was just talking to the neighbor about this tonight. He was like, oh yeah, I know somebody who's 20 something, you know, and she just went and got all of her eggs frozen, like went and froze a bunch of eggs because she's focused on career right now. But then it's challenging because you're taking your most prime fertile years and putting them on hold so you can go chase some corporate whatever.
Right.
And then you're going to decide to have kids, but then now you're top of your career, your fertility's down here, and then you're going to either struggle to have a kid or then you're going to have the kid, and then what? Now you have to what? You put the kid in a daycare and keep doing your grind at the, I don't know.
Yeah. And you might have worked so hard and been so focused on that you didn't find a partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's so true.
It's a big issue when you get people into their 30s, and not that there's anything wrong with that, like dating in your 30s or anything like that, but it's definitely a different ball game.
I mean, that was you.
And you're kind of in a rush.
Yeah.
Like you're like,
the time is ticking a little
not
more.
so much for men, and this isn't to be sexist, but like if you're a woman and you're working well into your 30s, like, and then you're looking for a man and you want to have kids.
Yeah.
And you find that man, and you know, maybe they want kids, but if they're already at that point and they're like, like I've gotten this far, I'm choosing a partner because I don't want kids.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for someone who's around your age because that doesn't sound like something that I want. I feel like you eliminate a lot of good partners or good potential partners if you wait that long.
Yeah. And unfortunately for women, like our fertility is more on a clock than it is for, and I'm not saying like I work in birth work and we have women that are, you know, well into their 40s who come in and are pregnant naturally. It's not to say that it's impossible, but like, you know, some risks do increase as you get older. That's just fact, you know.
Yeah.
And it gets harder, you know, and so then there's going to be more women that are faced with, you know,
it's not the way nature intended it.
No, and you're gonna make, you know, a battle potentially a lot more challenging.
For sure.
Know? And this isn't to place blame. It's the culture, right? I'm saying like the culture is working against us. What else? I think that's then just like environmental toxins, like synthetic fragrances. We already said that, like Teflon pans, like everything that we're cooking our food in, heavy metals, microplastics. Right? Ultimately, the point is just like
there are a lot of things working against us.
Yeah. Like, I hope your brain is turning here that, like, yeah, maybe whether it's intentional or not, infertility is kind of fabricated, because look at how many things you'd have to go down to try to fix, like.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Whether it's intentional or not, we've manufactured this.
Yes.
As humans.
Yes.
And we've kind of dug ourselves into a hole without a ladder.
Yep. There you go.
And
I completely agree.
That's where we're at.
I completely agree. Well, then let's do like a little storytelling. Let's kind of
talk about us.
Yeah, let's talk about us.
Okay.
Hang on. So when we first met,
yep,
I already had a kid.
You did?
Whatever. I already had a kid. And her conception story is kind of wild.
It is.
Should I start there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll just give a brief summary here.
Just give a quick summary.
Just because I think what makes our story kind of unique or a little wild is most people who go into, this is not all, I know that, but a lot of people who go into infertility, it's typically their like first time trying together. Maybe second time, because secondary is a real thing. But this was kind of a weird situation because I was on birth control, like we've already said. I got engaged to Holland's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard all the kind of horror stories that most women who are on birth control, it takes 6 months to a year until your cycle regulates again. And
Right.
sometimes you have a hard time getting pregnant after. And I was like, that's terrifying. Because you know what's really weird is I have known since I was probably Zeppelin carrying my baby dolls around, like mothering them. Like I've just known for as long as I can think back that I want to be a mom someday.
Yeah.
But you know that like weird game that you play with like your friends in like middle school and like, or I don't know if you're like dating a boy, but it's like the relationship where it's strictly texting.
Yes.
Like you literally don't like do anything else except for text each other at night. And you ask each other random questions like, what's your biggest fear in life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you're just a kid trying to figure that out. You know what mine always was?
What?
Not being able to have kids someday.
I feel like that's a normal fear for probably a lot of young girls.
You think? I feel like most people are like skydiving or like.
No, I think that I mean, probably not super common.
Yeah.
At that age, but like
it's just kind of weird and introspect, right?
I think it's definitely a fear. Like I feel like it's probably, if they say it or not, it's probably a more common fear than you think.
That's fair. Maybe I was just able to name it. And
I mean, even as a boy, you know, and being young, like the thought of not being able to have kids definitely crossed my mind.
Did it? That's interesting.
Yeah, and I might be a unique situation.
I was gonna say I thought that I was like rare for that.
Well, and on top of that, you know, and this is full disclosure here, I only have one testicle.
That's true.
So
yeah,
I was born that way. An undescended testicle is called.
Well, not technically, because didn't they do the surgery and go check and you don't have another one?
I couldn't find that motherfucker.
It's not like it was undescended though.
He hiding.
You were just born with one.
Yeah, so
he's not hiding anywhere. We learned all this in nursing school.
Because typically an undescended testicle will come down eventually.
Yeah. Or the surgery is to find it and pull it down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My other one, I just have one really big one, and it ate the little guy.
That's a little too much information, I think, honey.
Just kidding.
But so, did you have fears maybe that would?
Yeah, I think it crossed my mind because I was like, well, you know, and at that point, you know,
aren't you supposed to have
especially when I was younger, you know, the internet was there, but you couldn't just like start ChatGPT and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like going off of bro science.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if you don't have your left one, but you have your right one, like, the right one, you need that one. It was like that type of shit.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
For sure.
Like, which one do I have?
Yeah. But yeah, I get that it was always a big fear of mine. So
for sure.
I'm on birth control. I'm 6 months into an engagement, 6 months out from the wedding. And I was like, I knew that I wanted to have kids, and I'm finishing college at this point, but I'm like, okay, well, if we're getting married in 6 months, 6 months after that, you know, would be then a year being off the pill. And they say 6 months to a year for your cycle to regulate. I think I should get off the pill now and like start cycle charting. Like I had heard about cycle charting and I was like, okay, that sounds cool. Here's the mistake though. I just downloaded an app and I was like, that'll work. Anybody wondering, an app is not cycle charting because I thought that I had 27-day cycles because I've been on synthetic hormones that are preset to make sure that you have a 27-day cycle every single month. And
there's a range, and this is a question, there's a range for a normal cycle?
Yeah.
What's the range?
It's between like 25, 26, I believe, to like 34.
Okay, and that would fall into like a normal category.
That would be a normal. Okay. Yep, so anything shorter, I won't go in the weeds there, but anything shorter would be a concern. Anything longer would be a concern. And so guess how many day cycles I have typically? 31 to 34. Okay. It's not 27. So I went into this app and put in all my information. Like I have 27-day cycles. The app was like, okay, that means you ovulate on day 14 because that's the day that a pill would then create your fake ovulation. Right.
Right.
And so my fiance at the time was actually, we were both competitive powerlifters. And I was carrying probably 40, 50 more pounds than I am right now of pure muscle mass. Like,
she was jacked. I have pictures.
Lifting 400 pounds, you know
jacked.
what I mean? You would think not very supportive of like female fertility.
Yeah.
And I never got a cycle. I got pregnant.
Right.
Which was pretty crazy.
That's
because
crazy.
Here I am thinking it was going to take a year.
Initially when we met, you had told me that story, and I was like, damn, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Because, like typically people try for a while.
And you're probably like, damn, she's fertile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
That's what I thought. So then here we are. We decide we're getting married in January. So we're in 2021.
Right.
December of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We decide like, I had been cycle charting for a handful of months. I believe I wrote it down. I started in April of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somebody where I don't cycle until after I wean completely from breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I still haven't started cycling, and I'm 14 months postpartum. So with Holland, I weaned her at 18 months, and then I started cycling again, and I started cycle charting. So I felt pretty familiar with my cycle at that point.
Mm.
And December, we were like, okay, we're getting married in like a week, and I'm ovulating. We know we want to have babies. My sister-in-law, your sister, we were like, let's get pregnant at the same time. It was going to be her first baby. Yep. So cool. Yep. They got pregnant on the first go.
We did not.
We did not. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned cycle charting, and now for those people that don't know, what exactly is it and why? I know you mentioned like the app didn't work and all of that. How do you truly cycle chart?
Yeah.
Without using, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that do think they're cycle charting, but they're using an app and it's not accurate, and they're maybe that could be part of the issue is why they're not getting pregnant. So fill us in a little bit on what actually cycle charting is.
I think exactly what you said is really important. That I don't know the statistics on it, but I do know that there is, I want to say maybe it's in the 20 to 30% range. That's like what's on my brain right now, of people who aren't getting pregnant because they're not timing sex correctly.
And that's a big deal.
And
like
sometimes
if that's your
it.
Only issue.
Yeah.
Damn, let's fix that.
Could you imagine though going through all like fertility treatments or something, and this whole time like you just weren't having sex at the right time? Because your fertility doctor is not going to follow you around and make sure you're doing those things. Right. They're just going to take your word for it.
He's not going to call you after you just boned and be like, hey, yo, you're out of your window. Yeah. That was for fun.
Yeah, no.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, so I think cycle charting is so important because, like I said, I believe that fertility is your fifth vital sign, right? Like if you have a healthy cycle, that's pretty indicative that you also have a healthy kind of whole body. Right. As a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So your cycle is broken down into certain phases. And each phase is going to give you information about your overall health.
Okay.
And especially fertility.
Okay.
So there's so much that you can learn from cycle charting. So I'm a big proponent of it as a method of birth control. But also if you're somebody where you're like, I'm getting ready to start conceiving, or we've been trying for a few months and it's not working out, implement this and really do the research. Don't just download an app because it's not the same. Okay. So it starts with menstruation, which is day one of your period. So day one of true bleed is the menstruation phase. Typically this will last, between 3 to 7 days. Everybody's different how long your period is. Okay. At this point, your hormones are at their lowest, and it's a time of kind of reset and reflection of the body. Okay. Your hormones are all super chill down here. The info that you can gather from this is how long is your period? How many days are you bleeding? What's the flow, like the flow rate? What's the color? Are you having any clotting? Are you having pain? Okay, that's just a handful of the things.
It's being more in tune with your body.
Yep. And then you can go down, this isn't the episode for it, but there's a reason for all of those abnormalities if you're seeing them in this part of your cycle. Okay. Then you're going to go into the follicular phase, which is typically around days like 6 to 13, sometimes later, depending on when you ovulate. Like if you're somebody like me who has a longer cycle, your follicular phase is usually a little longer. But at this point, your pituitary gland in the brain is going to start releasing the hormone FSH, which is your follicle stimulating hormone. it means it's going to go and it's going to start getting your ovaries and all the little follicles on your ovaries all stimulated and get ready. Okay. But one of those is going to dominate to release that egg that cycle.
Okay.
So multiple follicles are stimulated. Only one's going to release your egg.
Okay.
At this time, estrogen is starting to rise and it's going to thicken the lining and prepare it for pregnancy. That's then going to promote cervical mucus.
CM.
CM. He knows that one. Because that's your call. That was the one thing you cared about was the CM.
She got CM. It's time to go.
Time to go. This is an important thing to pay attention to is your cervical mucus patterns. Like you should be getting like prime cervical mucus close to ovulation, which is kind of like an egg white, thin, clear, stretchy, consistency. Then you're going to move into your ovulatory phase, which is typically just a short window, 24, 48 hour window.
Okay.
So this phase moves really quickly, but your LH hormone, so your luteinizing hormone, is going to peak due to the rising estrogen, and it's going to trigger ovulation.
Okay.
So then an egg's going to pop out.
Right.
When the egg pops out, he leaves behind his little home or his little sac. It's called a corpus luteum. The corpus luteum is what produces progesterone. Progesterone's a really important hormone because it's going to sustain that lining and make it nice and primed should sperm meet the egg and that implant into the uterine lining.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
If in your in your luteal phase, if you are having a very short luteal phase, if you're having premenstrual spotting, if your cervical mucus is not drying up, and then also your basal body temperature. So once you ovulate, your temperature is going to have a 0.3 to a 0.5. Some information says 0 all the way up to 1 degree elevation in temperature.
Okay.
So if you're checking, that's part of cycle charting. There's different factors that you chart. One of them is your temperature. If you're charting that, and your temp isn't having that good rise, it can mean that you're having low progesterone. If that corpus luteum isn't releasing good progesterone,
there might be an issue.
Yeah, there's underlying issues, right? Okay, and I'm going to end it there. But the point is just that every single month you get a report card as a woman. You're going to get an overall report card of what your health is doing and what your body's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And it is really important that you take some notes, you ask the questions, you learn how to listen to what she's trying to tell you, and you figure out how to support it to make sure that you're having healthy cycles.
Okay.
Because that means that you're having a healthy egg, you're having a healthy lining, you're having healthy hormones, right? Those are all going to be supportive, obviously, of getting pregnant, sustaining a pregnancy. I think it's a great place to start.
So if somebody's trying to get pregnant and they're not doing this, you highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
What about people that are struggling? And again, with people that are struggling with hormonal issues and birth control and all that, do you recommend them trying this out as an alternative?
I think picking, like you mean as like a contraceptive?
Yeah.
I don't want to give out medical advice here. Nobody come at me. So I will reframe the question.
Okay.
For myself and for our daughters in
That's
our
what we'll
home,
be doing.
yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And we've talked about that before.
Yep. You do what you want with that information as a listener, but yes, for me and our daughters in our home, absolutely.
Well, and I think it is important, that obviously we're not soliciting medical advice, but also you are qualified to talk about this stuff.
To an extent, yes. Right. I do have medical licensing.
She's very smart. She went to school.
But yeah, so I was already doing this. A handful of months I was doing cycle charting. Right. So I felt like I had pretty good information. Were my cycles perfect? No. Yeah. But I felt like I knew that I was ovulating and I knew when. So I was like, perfect. I know how to time our sex.
Yes.
So December came. We're like, let's give it a shot. We didn't get pregnant. I was kind of like, whatever. We're getting married in January. Let's just focus on all of that. No big deal. Well, December cycle goes by. January cycle goes by. February cycle goes by. And now we're sitting in Lake Tahoe on our like little mini honeymoon after our like elopement,
More like what's happening here.
And I just felt like this doesn't feel right. I just had such a gut feeling. I was like, we should be pregnant. If I could get pregnant instantly with all the like confounding factors with Holland, why are you and I not getting pregnant instantly? After 2 years of infertility and going through IVF, Jordan and I wanted to get a real look at what was going on in our bodies before trying to get pregnant again.
Yeah, because hearing your labs look normal doesn't mean much when normal basically means half the country's tired and inflamed.
And trying to get full lab work through traditional doctors can take months or even years and cost you thousands of dollars. Function Health makes it easy. No chasing referrals or waiting for permission to understand your own body.
With Function, you get over 100 lab markers all at once, and they don't just give you numbers, they tell you what each result means, why it matters, and show you the difference between normal and optimal.
A clinician actually reviews all your labs and gives you a detailed, personalized report on what to adjust in your diet, lifestyle, and supplements. It's like finally getting a translation for what your body's been trying to tell you.
And the coolest part, you get a second blood draw included in your one-time fee to track your progress, because apparently, healing doesn't happen in one appointment.
If you've ever felt dismissed or brushed off, or you just want to take control of your health before pregnancy, or ever, we can't recommend Function Health enough.
You can use the link in our show notes to sign up, and when you do, you're helping support our podcast and the mission behind it, empowering families to think critically, live intentionally, and refuse the normal. When we knew that both of us were capable of pregnancy, I had been in previous relationships where pregnancy had occurred, didn't make it all the way there.
Yeah.
And I won't go any deeper into it than that, but it didn't end up turning into a baby.
No.
But I did know that the old boy was working.
Yeah.
So
yep.
We both had experience that we could potentially get there.
So it feels kind of shocking.
It was shocking.
3 cycles go by, and and what's challenging is in no way did our experience make me incapable of pure joy and excitement for your sister, but it was challenging to go into it and be like, let's get pregnant together. And at this point now she's 3-4 months pregnant, and my womb is still empty.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to not feel like there's a little bit of a timeline or a I don't know,
an expectation.
Yeah, expectation, I guess.
And just for anybody listening that is trying to get pregnant and doesn't know if there's going to be issues or not, and you're just getting started, don't plan it with anybody else.
Yeah.
It was a cute gesture, but it ended up not, very happy. We were very happy for my sister, and, she had an amazing birth and everything went really well. But when you set an expectation and you're basing it off someone completely different in their body, it's never going to end well.
Yep. And comparison is a big thief.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're trying, we're wondering.
So this is in February.
Right.
And you then bring up a good point.
Yeah. So at that time I had been on testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, which is, I'm sure if you haven't heard about it, you probably have seen an ad on your phone. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really popular thing for men, and it's become a more popular thing for younger men rather than just older.
You know why it's everywhere?
Because people's testosterone is way down, and men are not producing the same amount of testosterone that they used to be.
Yeah.
So supplementation is really the only thing you could do in order to feel like you have energy, you feel young, revitalized.
Pull that back. It is not the only thing that you can do, but we are sold the idea that it's the only thing that you could do for a quick fix.
Exactly.
Take this drug.
Yes.
Feel much better.
Yes. And I'm actually not shitting on TRT because I think there might be a time and a place for it.
Yeah.
But
I don't disagree.
I was in my early 30s and I had been on it, and I was told by a doctor that I have low testosterone, and I attributed that to potentially having one testicle. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get on this stuff because it makes me feel better. I thought it was the right choice for me at the time and got on it, and I can get it prescribed to me, and it's going to be all legit, and I'm not going to have to worry about side effects and all the bullshit because I'm going through a doctor. So I go to this clinic, and I won't mention it, but it's, there's plenty of them out there. They're men's clinics where you can get prescribed testosterone. And they do 1 shot a week. And then when I went there to sign up, they were like, do you want to get on HCG as well? And I was like, what's HCG? I had no idea.
Like the pregnancy hormone?
Yeah. And it's very common in the TRT world. So when they signed me up, they were like, well, you still, because I had known that testosterone could affect you getting pregnant, whatever. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily want kids now, but don't know if I want them in the future. I just don't want to take away any
That
opportunities.
option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so they were like, oh, well, don't worry about that. We have something for you. So they will put you on HCG.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extra $20 a month, and that will protect your sperm count, and it'll make it to where you could potentially get pregnant down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, cool. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we do it, and I'm on it. I was on it for like 2.5 years when we met.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, we're in February and we're wondering what's going on. And I'm like, hey, well, I am on TRT, and you knew that. And I was like, but we need to look into potentially maybe that's causing me to not be fertile.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, but I'm taking this HCG, and they told me about, and so we look into it, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
You're like, this is literally making you sterile.
It's like male birth control.
Yeah. Talk about male birth control. That is literally
TRT.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So anyways,
So then we decide like we're going to go home and let's go look into all of this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got an appointment with the urologist.
Mhm.
I got an appointment with the midwife.
Yes.
You went and got a sperm analysis done.
Yep.
I went and got some basic blood work and like a pap smear. My stuff all came back totally fine.
Mhm.
Yours came back
non-existent. So typical normal range
Mhm.
is 15 million
Mhm.
to like 50.
You want me to let's break it down because
give me the typical range.
This is kind of wild though. Okay. And I think this is important for men to understand because too often are couples going through infertility and the woman's getting all this stuff done. They're like, let's check his sperm. They do a sperm analysis and they go, yeah, he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're doing is comparing it to these values
right
that are not fine, that are not optimal, right? And could drastically be improved and probably significantly help your fertility chances.
Right. But what is the typical range?
The WHO, the World Health Organization, their current sperm parameters are 15 million concentration,
right?
40% motility,
mm-hmm.
and 4% morphology. Okay, motility and morphology are just like the structure of the sperm and their ability to swim, essentially.
Is that the low end?
That's what the WHO recommends. That would be considered your normal ranges.
That and above.
Yeah. Okay. But the average man in 1940, babe, their sperm concentration was 113 million.
That's insane.
And now it's about 50 million in the average man today. But what the WHO did, and I don't know, all the details of this, but I do know that if you were to pull up a timeline, and y'all can go and fact check me, you can pull up a timeline of how the sperm parameters have shifted over the years.
Right.
They just continue to lower them and lower them and lower them because sperm health, is lowering and lowering and lowering. But does that make sense? Like to just keep dropping the
we're lowering the bar.
The gauge of what's normal.
Instead of maintaining a standard, we're lowering the bar.
Yeah, instead of maintaining a standard. It's insane.
Yeah.
So that when the WHO set these like normal limits, they were actually based off of the lower 5th percentile of men.
Okay.
Whose partners conceived within 1 year of trying. Meaning like 95% of men in this study had better sperm than what the bar was set as normal.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So really, I had to do a little digging to find it, but for optimal health, you really want to have 48 million concentration, 63% motility, 12% morphology.
Okay.
And yours came back and you had 2 million.
Right.
What was your motility and morphology?
Okay, so motility.
He had to put his glasses on for this one. Okay,
all right,
so your
I'm back.
concentration was 2 million.
Concentration was 2 million.
Your motility total 57. So you had 57% motility, which the optimal range is 63%, and your morphology was 2. And optimal would be 12%.
Okay.
So not great. But in a way, it almost felt kind of relieving because it was like, oh, okay, no big deal.
Right.
You know, all we got to do is improve your sperm.
Yes.
But then we go to the urologist, and that was a whole experience that we don't have to get into, but it was not a great experience.
Not a great experience.
And ultimately what I took from that appointment is I walked out feeling like, okay, well, there's a good, maybe not a good chance, but there is a possibility that this is irreversible.
Right. And that things aren't coming back.
Yeah, which is terrifying.
Which was a little weird. It felt a little weird coming from that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and this is not, I'm not going to, obviously not going to say who he was, but the man was extremely obese and gave terrible information.
Terrible bedside
and
manner.
left us with a taste in our mouth that was like, oh, well, you know, it could be irreversible. We don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, most of the time, if you look into it, most of the time it's reversible.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
But to put that into somebody's head is kind of crazy.
Which I am always grateful. You know, sometimes like we don't want to hear the information, but I do think like I would want to know if that is a possibility. It was just his bedside manner was terrible.
Yeah.
But so you were prescribed Clomid. Okay.
Yep.
And got off the TRT.
But he told me to remain on HCG.
Yep.
So I was taking HCG and Clomid.
Mm-hmm. Did you do anything else?
At that point,
I kind of don't think you did.
I don't think I did.
Because at this point, we're just kind of feeling like we're gonna get pregnant. Like
we felt like aha.
Yeah.
Like that was
figured it out.
We figured it out. So anyways, time goes by.
So that one was in March of 2022.
Okay.
And then we went again in July of 2022.
Right.
And this time you had 25.5 million sperm.
So it was going up.
We were feeling great.
It was on the up. We were like, holy shit.
That was a big jump.
It's coming back. The guy is an idiot.
Yeah.
It's not irreversible.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be okay.
We got this.
Yeah. And we didn't feel great about it, but we had positive thoughts. We're like, this is good.
Yep.
Things are rebounding. This is going to be it.
And then in August, so the next month, I got a ruptured ovarian cyst.
Right.
It was super painful. I was having this crazy like nerve pain all the way down my feet. I couldn't even like walk on the ground. Like my feet were like so sensitive.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And I was kind of freaking out because then of course you go and read, and I thought that potentially you could get what's called like ovarian torsion, I believe it's called, where like the cyst can get so big and swollen and the fluid, and then it ruptures and the fluid gets in the space that you're like, your tube can actually like twist. And like that's like a surgery and all this like I was freaked out. So I ended up going to the ER. And at the ER I got a pelvic ultrasound, and on the pelvic ultrasound they saw that I had polycystic ovaries. So I had like a bunch of cysts on my ovaries. And I was kind of like, oh shit. Like I have noticed that I have longer cycles, and I have a couple other symptoms that could, that are kind of teeter-tottering on the side of PCOS. And part of the diagnostic criteria is to have polycystic ovaries, right? And I was like, well, shit, there it is. And now I'm kind of like, okay, well, maybe it's not just male. Maybe it's also female factor.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of starting to be like, okay, well, maybe I need to start looking into that stuff a little more too. And so it was around this time where I decided, like, ultimately, I believe, yes, of course, the ultimate goal is to get pregnant and have a baby. But knowing what I know, believing in what I believe in, I also know that sperm and my ovulation indicate whether you and I are like at optimal health.
Right.
And I want both of us to be at optimal health and like feel our best and have vitality, and so we got to get this improved for ourselves, and also ensure that we're going to have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby.
Yes.
So at this point we ended up hiring a NAPRO provider. What's cool, she was a midwife. Most NAPRO providers are MDs. She's a midwife, and NAPRO is it's natural procreative technologies. So it's basically like identifying and treating like underlying issues rather than like masking symptoms, right?
Right.
I really connected with that approach. There's, as far as I'm aware, there are no NAPRO providers in the Las Vegas area.
Yeah.
But we found somebody in Utah. We could do it virtually. She took her insurance. So we added her to our team.
Right.
I got pretty extensive lab work done.
I got lab work done again.
Like another sperm analysis?
Yeah.
Not until October. I'm talking, this is in August. So this was after my ruptured cyst was in August. And around that August, September month is when I started to co-manage. Like, I didn't want to just do the midwives at the office that I work at because, you know, they mainly do like pregnancy and birth. And obviously, like, that's not me. So I added my friend who was a PA and was really into fertility stuff. We added the NAPRO midwife and I added the acupuncturist. So now I'm like co-managing with like 5 different people, just trying to get every single ounce of information I possibly can. Because it was kind of like, I knew that potentially my health wasn't as good as my fertility wasn't as optimized as it could be, but I had no freaking clue where or why or what or how.
Right.
So I was just trying to find answers, which
sure.
is so much harder said than done.
Yeah.
I empathize with all the women out there just carrying that load, trying to figure out what the heck they do. Then, after working with the NAPRO provider, I got a couple different labs back that were abnormal.
That's right.
I had elevated DHEA, but I had low estrogen and low testosterone, which, without going into the weeds, that's really weird because DHEA is actually a precursor to making the hormones estrogen and testosterone. So it's kind of weird that it's elevated here, but that I have low hormone. So basically I was having like a conversion issue, which I guess is common in specific like subtypes of PCOS. And there's one called lean PCOS because I don't look like somebody. Like typically, you know, there's a certain look and I don't really fit that.
I remember you bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, so potentially, but still, even to this day, I'm like a little confused on whether I even have PCOS or not. I'm still not even completely sure.
Yeah, we don't know.
But PCOS is complicated, and that's a whole other thing. But and then I had some subclinical hypothyroidism. But other than that, like everything was looking pretty dang good. Okay. And so what she did was put us on progesterone post ovulation. So after I would ovulate, I had oral progesterone that I would take for the rest of my luteal phase until I would have a period. So then we roll into September 2022, and this is when we got a chemical.
That's right. And I was still on Clomid.
Yep.
I had stopped taking HCG.
And I get a positive pregnancy test. And it was like, no way.
Yeah. Because I got home from work.
And I just started progesterone. So I was like, we did it. Like, your sperm's improved. All I needed was a little progesterone support. Heck yeah. Yeah, you got home from work. I told you right away. It was so great. And then the line got faint on the next test. And it was pretty much gone on the next. And then...
It was short-lived.
Yeah. I don't think... Did I get blood work done? Like in HCG? Yeah, I think I was just kind of like, fuck this. And then we went on a vacation and I bled so bad. Like it was the heaviest bleed I've ever had. It was
very sad.
And at this point, your sister just had her baby. And so we're on this vacation with them and they have their precious baby. And I'm like silently kind of like miscarrying this like early pregnancy. And of course we rented a van.
Yeah.
And remember, you were driving because we flew into Portland. We were driving to Bend, Oregon, and I would have to go into the little porta potty while we're driving and try to change all these bloody like hygiene products.
Yeah,
and I was cramping so bad. It was miserable.
It was really sad.
Definitely one of those.
That was like a terrible. Because we were so pumped for like a minute.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know what? This is one of those points in our timeline that definitely sticks out to me. But I also feel like I recall us both feeling kind of excited because we were like, you know what? We've never seen a positive pregnancy test, and now we have, and that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it was almost like a little bit of hope.
Yeah, like a taste, glimpse. A little taste of it.
It was like, oh, our bodies are trying.
Yeah, like we're doing it.
They're
like
trying.
That means a sperma egg. Like we're doing it.
Right.
So then in October, you did get another sperm analysis, and now it's at 40 million.
And things were looking that was a big improvement.
Yeah, we were feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then in January, so we're still not getting pregnant. October didn't get pregnant. November didn't get pregnant. December didn't get pregnant. Now we're a year in, right? We're a year into trying and we're not conceiving. So typically when you get to the year mark, you're kind of now classified as infertile.
Right.
We get into January, and this is when I start medicated cycles.
That's right.
So I get put on letrozole to try to kind of time my ovulation better, right? And this may come as a surprise. We don't get pregnant.
Yep.
And then we roll into February. And February of 2023 is when I think everything really changed.
Yeah.
I think you and I were starting to really feel it.
Right.
A little less in denial, a little more like, okay,
what do we need to do?
What do we need to do?
What are we not trying right now? What have we not? We started looking at it as we have control over everything that we do. What possibly can we change or take into our own control that we have not done yet?
So a big one that I did is I dropped out of midwifery school.
It was highly stressful.
So I had graduated nursing school in like June of 2022 and I went straight into a midwifery program, right? Like I think I had a month or two in between, if that. Went straight into a midwifery program and I made it through the first semester and got to February and I was like, I know that my body is like so stressed. I was grieving my dad. Like my dad had passed just that year prior. And I was kind of thinking that if I just pushed through school, then I wouldn't have to face my grief.
Yeah.
But the stress was probably affecting my fertility, and I had to kind of grapple with that and accept that. So I dropped out of the program. I was also attending births. Yeah. So like I was barely
whenever middle of the night on call.
Yep.
And that was, we decided that was probably not great either. It was disruptive for your sleep patterns.
Then I'm not really getting sleep.
Sleep is extremely important.
Yep. So I shifted more to like clinical hours and less birth call, which all of that was really hard to do. You know, it's like
those were big changes. Those were things that you were working towards in your life.
They were like part of my identity for so
sure.
long.
And
but ultimately I was like, I want a baby more than anything. Like I will do anything. I don't care. Like I am fully dedicated to this pursuit. Like we are going to make a baby. So I made those big changes. Is there anything that you can think of that?
Yes. So for me, we did start some supplementation.
Yep. I put you on Fullwell.
That was the one. Yep.
Yep.
So we started that. I was much more intentional about my eating because I had looked into like processed foods and that type of stuff and how bad it can be for sperm quality and sperm health. So cut way back on processed foods, cut way back on sugar, and then also working out.
Alcohol.
It was sugar, alcohol for sure. Cut way back on alcohol. I didn't stop drinking, but I was maybe drinking like once a month, and it was like a couple beers.
Yeah.
Cut way back on that.
I think calorie counting. I feel like, right? Didn't you start doing like some?
I was limiting like excess calories.
Yeah.
And exercise. I started lifting weights. I was walking in the mornings.
Yep.
That was all part of my like protocol.
Your ball danglers. We switched.
Ball danglers, yes.
That's what we call them.
Yeah. So if you don't know, your balls are outside of your body in order to stay cool. They don't want to be the same temperature as your body. They need to be cool in order to function and be healthy. So that's why it's recommended when you're trying to get pregnant or trying to increase your sperm count or whatever, that you wear loose fitting boxers instead of boxer briefs or briefs.
Because you don't want to hold it up.
You don't want it bunched up to your body where it's staying at a warmer temperature. You want them hanging, letting those guys breathe.
Yep.
So
we changed you to like cotton boxer brief. Is that the
that was it? It was boxers, underwear. Not briefs. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they're just straight boxers. Yeah. They don't snug up to you.
Yeah.
So we did do all that.
Then you were also like drinking out of a plastic water bottle at work all the time.
We had plastic water bottles that we just keep stocked like in our fridge at work. And I was drinking those. I switched to a Stanley.
Yeah, that's when you got your Stanley.
Filling that up and not drinking out of plastic water bottles anymore.
Yep.
Because microplastics are also really, really hard on your body.
you want to know something scary about microplastics? Is it's not just for men, it's for women too. Because we made the changes in our family to also like, we threw away all of our plastic containers. We got the glass sets from Costco. I really like, I got those silicone snack bags, remember, and stopped using like plastic snack bags. Like we were really conscious about plastic in the house.
Yes.
But there was a study done on women that found I think it was like 300 something women. I didn't write it down. I think it was around 300, and 78% of the women tested had microplastics in their ovarian fluid. So the like fluid concoction that your eggs are sitting in. 78% had microplastics, which is so scary because we know in animal studies that microplastics are linked to impaired egg quality, hormone disruption, oxidative stress, inflammation, and poor embryo development.
Unfortunately, I'm not surprised.
I know.
I mean, that's been something that floats around now. It's like, what is the thing that
like the credit card?
Yeah, the popular. Yeah, exactly.
In our bodies, we all probably carry about a credit card size of microplastics.
The average American has about a credit card worth of microplastics. Exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy.
But it greatly impacts fertility. You know,
For
maybe
sure.
we don't have all the research there just yet, but it's kind of hard to not consider it. And like you were saying, like we were ready to do whatever was in our control to change. So yeah, I feel like we were definitely conscious with like food and stuff. I stopped wearing perfume. I stopped using scented body wash. What else? I don't wear makeup already, so that wasn't really like a concern, but I did get, you know, like what I thought to be a low tox like tinted thing in a mascara for the one day every 6 months I put makeup on.
Right. Yeah.
Shampoo, like went down the rabbit hole of trying to do like natural shampoos and stuff.
But those were all big lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Those are things that like, they're not easy overnight switches unless you are intentionally trying to do it. Like you have to make those kinds of changes, you really have to be intentional about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you really have to fucking want it.
And let me say too, like for anybody who's maybe in this part of it, I don't feel when I look back at it, when we decided to make these lifestyle changes, it wasn't out of like desperation. In a way, yes, because we were desperate for a baby. But I truly believe that whether we were going to get a baby out of it or not, it mattered that we improved our health, that we were functioning at our best ability, and that when we got to the point of maybe making the baby, that we would make the healthiest baby possible. Like in no way was I willing to like sacrifice our baby's health just so that we could get pregnant.
Right.
Like,
yes, absolutely.
These changes aren't necessarily out of desperation.
Right.
And I say that just so that you're not sitting there making a list, you know, being like, oh my gosh, I got to do blah, 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 blah. And then maybe I'll get pregnant. Like you can't, like your brain also is very powerful in this space as well. You got to have your heart in the right space of your why you're making these changes.
Yeah.
Because whether you're going to get a baby out of it or not, like this isn't some like magic fix.
Right.
And obviously it's not, because we're going to have a part 2 and we're going to talk about IVF, right? I'm not saying that this is some magic fix, but I do think that these things are really important because even if you do go to the IVF route,
you still want to be optimal health,
because you're still going to be using your eggs and we're still going to be using your sperm.
Right.
And you want to have healthy eggs and you want to have healthy sperm.
Right.
And if you need help connecting the two and then getting them, you know, into the womb, you still want all the pieces of the puzzle to be as healthy and optimized as possible.
For sure.
And that's how I felt really in the second year of our infertility journey, was like, how can we optimize our health and make these changes and just become the healthiest versions of ourselves as we possibly can. And then we'll see what the next step is after this.
Well, we did all of that and we still didn't get pregnant.
So
but looking back at it, the zero part of us was like, oh, we really missed out. We regret it. We didn't go back to the changes. We didn't go back to the things that we changed.
We've gotten deeper in them.
Even
deeper in them
today. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. The slight crisp turned into a extreme crunch.
Yep.
And
mic drop. End the episode there.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I completely agree. And we're even deeper in it now. I think that this was the catalyst into it. But again, it wasn't out of some like desperation or thinking that it was going to be this instant cure to our problems. It was because we deeply believed and wanted vitality and optimized health for both of us and to gift that to our children.
Right.
We felt responsible, you know, for our babies.
Well, I think we were both at least feeling better about the choices we were making and feeling like we were going the right direction.
You know, one of the most heartbreaking things thinking back on all of this is like, I don't know about you, but I felt really good.
Yeah.
And I think that was so devastating because it was like, I look good. I feel great. My labs all look good. You're right there with me. And we can't get pregnant.
It was devastating.
Like, why is it not happening? Why?
Yeah. That was a mind fuck.
It was so hard.
Because we were like, damn, we're actually, like, we're with the glow up. And we still could not get pregnant.
So then, following our timeline here to keep us moving, April and May come along, 2023. I'm still taking letrozole. So I in total had 6 cycles. Mm-hmm. So 6 months of letrozole, of medicated cycles. The first 4, we were just having time sex with it. Nothing happened. The last 2 of that, we had IUIs. Mm-hmm. We're really fortunate where I work in a women's health practice. We have a midwife who's also a dear friend of ours who came to our home. And we did an IUI at home, which was amazing.
Still awful, but yeah, it was still...
Well, the first one was okay.
That's right.
The second one, remember, I just started sobbing.
Yeah, it was very emotional.
I think that was like, I don't know why, but it's like bringing up the emotions of that time again. That was the moment for me. I can still remember it. I was laying on the bed with my legs up on pillows, and you were sitting next to me, and my, everything is opened up, and she's trying. I think we were a little late. Yeah. Because my cervix was already kind of closing and she was trying to get the catheter in and it just wasn't going. So it was really painful. Mm-hmm. And I was just sitting there like trying really hard to be tough, that it was hurting, because I was like, I didn't want to show you that I was like weak. I wanted to like prove that I was tough and I can do this, because I was trying to do it the whole time. Yeah. That like I could carry the burden of our infertility. Right. And that like we're going to be okay, Yeah. But it was just this moment that just like cracked me open, where I was like, this isn't how we're supposed to make a baby. Yeah. Like, this feels terrible. Like, this hurts. It's not fun. And you know what? I'm so worn down. I'm so broken down. Like, I can't keep doing it like this. Yeah. Like, it was just such a, like, breaking moment where just everything just hit me all at once. Yeah. And I remember we both were like, we're not doing IUIs again.
We're done.
We're done with that.
Yeah,
boy, I didn't think I was gonna... I thought this was going to be on episode 2 when I was going
to... Let it out, girl.
Ugh. So then June, we decided we're not doing IUIs anymore. This was like the final thing with our NAPRO provider. We decided to do some estrogen priming. Mm-hmm. So I started taking estradiol orally. The good news is I wrote this down because it was kind of cool. With all the changes that we made, I totally optimized my thyroid health, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was like a byproduct
of the changes that we made. Yes, super cool,
which was very cool.
And then it leads us to July. Mm-hmm. We're still not pregnant, since my breakdown in May. Mm-hmm. 3 more cycles have gone by. We're still not pregnant. We're in Lake Tahoe. We're there with your sister and also some close family friends of ours, and both of them had their babies.
No, they were pregnant.
And you and I remember we just went down to the beach and we were like under the stars. And I think we just like hugged each other and just cried. And we were just like, we're done. Yeah. Like not like throwing in the towel, but just like,
we need to try something else.
Yeah, we're done. I just felt I'm done carrying this burden. Like, I'm done with the racing thoughts and the constant like asking why and the Googling and the questioning everything and just thinking that if I try hard enough, I can fix this for us.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the next cycle, waiting on the next ovulation, waiting on the next month,
the next period,
and then not getting getting a negative, and then just it becomes like almost torture.
It is torture.
It becomes torture because
it's not almost torture.
It's a waiting game, and
it's torture.
It's a waiting game, and you're never winning.
Yeah.
And and if anybody's going through this right now, like, we know how lonely it is. We know how isolating it is. We know how you're never going to get a conversation that's going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Because nobody else knows what it's like. And people are going to give you the dumbest recommendations. And I know it's not coming from a place of hate or a place of like trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
But when somebody tells you, oh, just stop trying and don't think about it.
You're too stressed about
Get
it.
Get drunk and just, have fun, have sex,
you just
whatever.
have to not care.
And it's like, shut the fuck up. I'll kill you.
Literally.
That's how you feel.
That is exactly how you feel.
But, and it's, you can't really talk to anybody about it because if they aren't going through it or they just had a kid, it's like,
it's such a downer negative conversation.
It's a shitty conversation to have. It's like, what do you even say to somebody that's going through that? And like we just said, there's nothing that somebody can say to make you feel better. You just want somebody to listen sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, even within our own relationship, we had times where it was like, like I didn't know how to talk about it. Yeah. I want to fix things as a man. I want to fix things. And I had zero control over it. And you wanted to talk about it. And I automatically would get like on the defensive because I wanted to.
Not just defensive, but you would also be like positive, like almost dismissive that it was hard. You would just be like,
toxic positivity.
Toxic positivity.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it would always like hurt me because I would be like, Kevin, I'm not trying to be negative. I just need to talk about it.
Right.
I just need somebody to talk to. And that's just to share light on that. I don't care who you are. I don't care how rock solid your marriage is. Going through things like this, it rocks you.
Yeah.
It puts such a strain on your marriage and your relationship. It makes sex miserable.
Yeah, we were literally like, it was like a chore.
It was like, a chore. And we didn't want to do it. And we didn't want to do it any other time because we're so worn out by it. Like, we wouldn't let a single month go by without it, Yeah, it's truly torture.
It's draining. It's just, it's a lot.
But ultimately, I have a couple ideas that I want to kind of give to those who, aren't on the other side of it, holding a baby like we are, right? Like, spoiler alert, great news.
Right.
Here's our baby.
We've got a baby monitor.
We did it.
And again, this is we're doing a 3-part thing here.
This is a 3-part thing.
We're not going to leave you hanging on what's next.
Yeah. Ultimately, we did end up moving to a fertility clinic, and that's where we'll hang off on our timeline. Yes. We'll circle back next Thursday. But I just want to wrap us up with I'll kind of maybe let you start us if you have something, unless you want me to start it. But I do have a couple of things that I just want to run through just as kind of support, guidance. I don't know, a hug of,
Yeah. I think for me, what I'll leave you with for men that are potentially going through infertility and struggling, there's no downside to changing, and there's no regret to making lifestyle changes. I think a lot of the times we go to the doctor and we want a pill to fix everything, and 99% of the time that's not going to work, and that's not the case. And especially for this, we're sold quick fixes when in reality it's a long-term lifestyle change that's really going to improve your health, and not only your physical health, but your mental health. And for me, it was changing my diet, cutting out processed foods, incorporating exercising, walking every day, and getting into a healthy routine. And then on top of that, trying your best to keep mental clarity and stay positive. As hard as that was, it does help to talk about it. And as well as I do, I'm not good at talking about my feelings, and I'm terrible at it. I'm trying to get better, but occasionally you got to break down and you got to have those conversations, and you got to talk about it. And especially talking to your wife or your spouse, is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, because as shitty as it feels to have to like talk about something that just feels like you can't get right and something that you want to fix, it's going to bring you closer together, because infertility is something that is very, very lonely, and it can push you apart.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to make an attempt and an effort to stay close and stay emotionally connected with your spouse or your wife.
And make sure that it's the two of you against the problem.
Right. It's not one person's fault.
Yeah.
Again, like we said in the beginning, it comes down to two people, and it's the only thing. It's the only illness that you have to have both sides working together.
Yep.
And I think that's really important.
I love that. I think it's great. And I completely agree. I mean, from the female's perspective, I think there can be some additional challenge, because we carry a lot of the blame and a lot of the burden and a lot of the responsibility when it comes to fertility.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be completely that way, but also there are just some factors that we just can't control and why it is that way. I think, man, it's hard to like fully wrap your head around it all, because it's just so complex, but some of my advice might sound wild to you right now, and let me just say, like, I've been sitting in that exact same spot before. Don't let the pain of what you're going through rob you from or blind you to having joy for other people.
I like that.
Don't just resent everything. Don't be mad at everything, because it's so easy to be the like, why me?
Mm-hmm.
The obese people, that obese couple got pregnant, that meth head got pregnant, those people didn't even want to get pregnant, those ones had a whoopsie. Like, it's hard to not keep track of all of those things and be like, why me? Why can I try everything and I can't get pregnant? Like, don't grow resentment. Like, those types of feelings are not going to make you more fertile. They're not going to get you a baby sooner. They're just more damaging, It's just not necessary to consume it. Find your right group of support. I'm not perfect at that one. I think that it felt like, because of the work that I do, I literally work with people pregnant and giving birth and postpartum, that I just didn't want to bring my heaviness, my dark cloud into anybody's space. So I really just I did not have a circle at all.
Yeah.
I did find some like support groups and stuff, but you kind of have to vet that as well. So again, I'm giving this advice because I see the value, not because I'm perfect in it. But find your people, and don't be afraid to, you're not going to be the burden on the right people.
Right.
Build your circle, talk about it, have that support. Again, this is one that like I can't take my own advice, but don't be afraid to like put things on pause if you need to, if that's going to give you the mental space. I just don't work that way. I'm such a like you said, if there's a problem, I need to fix it. I'm like, I can't possibly take a month off. I got to keep trying, because a month off is a missed opportunity, and maybe that's the month we're going to get pregnant. Like, it was just such a nut job. And just a lot of give yourself grace. And I don't know, something that was really helpful for me, as corny as it sounds, was I did a lot of guided like meditations about imagining calling your baby in, opening your womb, being fertile, like all of those things. There were some really great ones out there. I know it sounds a little crazy, but I found a couple that I really loved, and I'd listen to them every time I got acupuncture. I'd fall asleep to them sometimes, just really trying to kind of call that in. And then the last thing I'm going to leave it with is, you fill this in, with whatever spiritual thing you believe in, whether that be God or whatever it may be. I deeply believe that our babies already chose us, and they're going to come to us. And I know that, and I refuse not to believe it. My dad is, no longer with us. And I greatly believe that he was holding them, and that he knew when the timing was right, that God knew when the timing was right. And trying to lean in and trust that. And just knowing that, like, your baby is going to come to you, and really trying to trust them a little more. I guess it's just kind of handing that, like, you're kind of letting go of some of the control.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel. I think ultimately what I'm trying to say is, now that we have a baby, I can look back and be like, okay, that was okay.
It was all right. Yeah.
But once I met our baby and I held her against my chest, I almost immediately felt I would do that all again.
For sure.
And it's really hard to feel that when you are in the trenches of wondering if that day will ever come for you. But let me tell you, like, it's so hard right now, but it is so worth it.
So
when
rewarding.
You get to hold your baby. Like, I would do every single thing that we did in those 2 years, and we haven't even talked about the second half of it this yet. Like, I would do it all again tomorrow for our baby.
Absolutely.
Like, the prize at the end is so worth it.
Yep.
Hold on, keep the faith, give yourself grace, find your tribe,
and hang in there, because it's gonna happen.
If you feel at home here, leaving a 5-star review helps other families find their way too.
Come hang out with us on socials at Lone Wolf Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next.
Remember, sometimes you have to stray from the pack to discover where you truly belong. Until next time, loners.